Why, hello, here we are. It is Monday, February 22nd, 2021. It's the Day Caller Pod. It is so nice to be back amongst these beautiful gentlemen. And before we start, guys, I do have to give my 2 cents since I was not available last week. You're right. You know what, Kirk? Yeah, forgot that. Salute to you, gentlemen. I wasn't involved in the Super Bowl conversation. Now, I have to admit something. I kind of like Brady right now. I kind of do.
What?
Like I'm slightly there. Just because when I saw him vote and how he was, he made me realize he's kind of a human. He took the stick out of his ass and he became a real person. So Kirk, I just want to catch up with you. You were at the Super Bowl. How was it?
He liked the after party celebrate or the parade celebration, right?
Yeah.
Where he let loose.
Yeah. Yeah. Little tequila.
Yeah, I mean the entire weekend was great. That stadium looked a lot more full than what you would expect it. Like,
yeah,
it seemed like it was loud, So, so many different events. It did not stop the celebrities from coming into town. There was tons of events. I mean, it was pretty much like a normal Super Bowl for the most part. I mean, I didn't really see. I mean, obviously the crowd was a little more reduced, but the atmosphere and the demand for like available Airbnbs was gone. Rental cars were gone. A lot of people came to town. It was pretty amazing.
Nice. Well, I'll tell you from my end, it was bittersweet looking at all your pictures and your footage of you having fun at the Super Bowl while Chris and I were sitting back here. Yeah. I was on a travel ban. I couldn't even get across the border.
Yeah.
But it was a, you know what, I will say I was disappointed with the game because as all of you guys know, I did post a video. I was fairly confident that KC was going to win and it would be in overtime. Yeah. But no, I was a little bored. But other than that, we will start off with talking about Kansas City. We're going to say congratulations to Patrick Mahomes on the birth of his brand new daughter, who was born on the 20th. Yeah, new baby girl. And hey, what a great day, because that was my daughter's 15th birthday.
Nice.
And before we get this show started, I'm going to give a little salute to Walker. So yeah, it's his big birthday tomorrow. He's still lying about his name. You know, the guy that likes the Dolphins?
Oh, he has a birthday tomorrow.
Tonight, it is Monday night. We are all back with Carlos joining us, which we, again, thank you for being on our panel. And let's talk about some NBA. So, gentlemen, who would like to start? Let's talk about the Lakers. Anyone want to take the floor for this one? Coach Broussard, do you want to talk about the Lakers?
I mean, to state the obvious, they lost Anthony Davis, a big piece to the puzzle. I mean, many would argue, he's the most valuable player on that team. At this point, I think it's like I mentioned on the last show, I think it's a great opportunity for LeBron to take over and really make a run for that MVP award, because everything's going to be on his shoulders now. They're trying to make up for what AD did with about two different guys, with Kuzma and some other guys. So I think it's going to be a huge opportunity for LeBron to take the bull by the horn, put up amazing stats during this span and really make a run for that MVP award. So, it could be good, or they could get behind. They could start losing some games. Utah's on fire. They kind of digging themselves in a hole a bit if they don't really get some W's while AD's out, because we really don't know how long AD's going to be out, because that injury's got a lot of unknowns to it. Is it his calf? Is it his Achilles? I guess they've confirmed that it is his calf, but how long is that going to be?
Mm-hmm. Carlos, what are your thoughts on the Lakers right now?
Well, let me put my Laker head off for right now. Just be a true commentator as a long-time Laker fan. What's funny is that I'm in these chat rooms. I'm on Twitter. I'm on social media, and people love to discount the Lakers as soon as they see one chink in the armor, one bad thing. It's all over for the Lakers at this point. So And you know that the recent game against Brooklyn, where Brooklyn won by about 12 points, I think it was 110-98. A lot of people are already crowning the Brooklyn Nets as the eventual champion of the NBA at this point. So I look at it like this. I mean, once you come off a season where you won a championship, you got a little bit of that hangover. And the Lakers were really playing well when Anthony Davis was still in the lineup. LeBron was coming along at his own pace. He didn't have to play so many minutes, and everybody was happy about the bench that the Lakers had added, all the additional firepower with Montrezl Harrell and Marcus Gasol and all those guys. And then you have this injury, the biggest injury that you can have outside of LeBron. So I think with a grain of salt, the Lakers will take a step back until Anthony Davis gets back. He is the one well, I guess you got to give LeBron his credit, but he is the ultimate just matchup nightmare for any team. So you look back at that Brooklyn game as a measuring stick game, and you see that they lose by 12 points. You can't tell me that if Anthony Davis had played in that game, that he wouldn't have made a difference, a big difference in that game. Now, there's nothing to take away from Brooklyn, who didn't have Kevin Durant in that game, but I'm just saying, I think people are always ready to defeat the Lakers and say that they're done, say that they're not going to win it this year. But if I'm looking at it from a long distance view, it's a long season, and it's just February. And, you know, the rumors have been out there that Blake Griffin may get his contract bought out by Detroit, and that he's addition to the Lakers is where he wants to go. That's just but one of the guys that's going to get bought up as the season continues, and the Lakers will make additions. So I think all in all, they're in a good place. They're going to be a top 3-4 seed in the West when it's all said and done, depending on who they add and making adjustments as they head into the postseason. I think the Lakers are going to be right there. I think they're still the favorites in the West. I get how good Utah is playing. Denver's there, a few other teams, but at the end of the day, I think you still got to give it to the Lakers in the West. Plus, when they add a few more players to shore up a few things in Anthony Davis's absence.
Woo. Okay, well, that was loaded. Okay, Coach Williams, what are your thoughts?
We have to get the NBA expert in here.
I love it. You had me hello. I'm so fascinated.
That's right. Yeah, man, you make us not want to talk basketball, bro. Dude, man, but my only thing is I don't think they can win the championship without AD. But I'm gonna be honest with y'all, man. The thing that bothers me about this whole thing, and I've been in that position as a coach, when you start playing around with those, you know, I don't like what he's grabbing. You know, we're talking about this being a calf, and we have you know, we've done that before in the past too. When guys are having true Achilles issues, we always try to brush those off as calf injuries to make it seem like it may not be as serious as it is. But calves don't cripple you the way that he was crippled and limping off that court. Calves don't do that, man. So I'm really concerned with whether this is truly a long-term Achilles type injury. And if he keeps pushing it, you know, I'd be concerned about him, you know, truly, you know, ripping that thing. And, you know, I just don't feel comfortable about how that looks. And I think also with you know, Blake Griffin coming into conversation, I think the Lakers know that they're going to need another guy. And, you know, so right now, I think AD might be in trouble, but no, I don't think they can win it all without him.
Okay. Carlos, I'm going to go to you right now. Damien Lillard last Skip Bayless on Twitter. Okay, I need you to kind of tell me what's going on. He says, "You'll never have my respect." What am I missing in Twitter world right now?
It's Skip. Every time. It's a number of NBA guys. If you notice, LeBron never even talks about Skip, but he doesn't even mention his name. And the reason is because we know Skip's game, right? We know he's going to troll you. He's going to keep throwing jabs at you. And the moment that you say anything back to him, he's going to acknowledge the fact that you said something that's the biggest story of the day. Mm-hmm. So guys have learned, for the most part, we're not going to engage with Skip. But Dame is just one of those dudes, man. He's one of those dudes from the streets. And you keep bringing my name up, bro, I got to say something to you. So Dame has got to that point where he just doesn't get the respect. And again, I don't know how much respect you want from Skip Bayless, man. He is what he is at this point. But Dame felt like he had to respond. He responded, and at this point, you know, I still don't think that Damien Lillard does get the respect that he deserves around the league. We're talking about a guy that doesn't play with any future MVPs, any future Hall of Famers outside of maybe McCullum, and that's borderline at best for him to be that type of guy. You know, he does all these amazing things. He reminds me of Dirk Nowitzki when he played for the Mavericks in the beginning of the 2010s. He's just the guy that kind of hangs out there, does it on his own self, and he'll take, you know, the credit, he'll take the discredit when it doesn't come his way. But one thing that he does not like, I think we've all seen it now, is Skip Bayless bringing his name up about some stuff that he does not think that is appropriate to talk about him. So I get both sides of it. I mean, again, if you're that type of guy, then of course you always going to have a reason to say something. But at the same time, being a multi-million-dollar athlete, a guy that does not have to pay attention to that stuff, I do kind of wish the Dame took a step back and just acknowledge the fact that if Skip is talking about me, I must be big time. He doesn't talk about 6 men. He doesn't talk about scrubs. He only talks about primetime players. And so if your name is being mentioned by Skip, it's a good thing. It's up to you to respond, though. I'll leave it at that.
Okay, coaches, let's take a coach's perspective on this. When players are, you know, reacting to stuff like this on social media, good thing, bad thing. Like, I feel like it's like the days of our lives for most athletes. Like, they instantly go to Twitter and they want to lash out. And like Carlos was saying, maybe you should have been the better guy just to kind of been like, you know what? I heard you. I'm not going to respond. Coaches, what are your thoughts when players turn around and they use social as a platform to get the last word in?
You know, I thought Dame was more collected than that, to be honest with you. I mean, I've always respected him, and you know, I don't know, Coach Broussard, if you realize that you know, we crossed over. His brother was an arena quarterback, Houston Lillard. So I get to see a lot of Houston hosting Dame on Facebook. And, you know, I always thought that he was more of a chilled out guy than that nothing could crack his armor. So I'm surprised that that he would respond like this. But, you know, I guess it is what it is. And maybe he felt like he'd taken enough. And I know one thing, I just want him to get his respect as a rapper, to be honest with you. I mean, I want some people to put some respect on Dame's name, because Dame's got bars. You know how y'all feel about that, but Dame, people need to realize Dame's a music guy too, right?
Dame Dollar.
Multi-talented, Coach Broussard.
He's without a doubt probably the most gifted athlete to go in a rap that I've seen.
Yeah,
he's definitely skilled. You know, he definitely has a career after basketball. You know, in music. But I think
do you think that would be successful? You go from sports to going and being a music artist?
Okay, let me ask you a question. Have you been to like a recent NFL or NBA game? And have you ever heard this song played called "Can't Be Touched"? Can't be touched, can't be moved. That's Roy Jones's song.
Hey,
it's one of the biggest songs in the stadium right now. You know, so yeah,
you got me.
It's possible, you know.
Yeah.
But Dame is pretty collected and pretty cool. You know, at the end of the day, him and Houston, they're Oakland boys. I don't know if you've ever been to Oakland, but it's like a West Coast. It's like a West Coast New Orleans. That's what it's doing. So, you know, you say something to those boys, they're gonna respond. But Dame is pretty cool and collected. I live in Portland, so you know, I kind of have a little crossover there as far as knowing how he is in the community. And I've ran into Houston plenty of times out here too. But yeah, normally he's pretty cool and collected. You know, at this point, I think he maybe just had enough. I think he felt snubbed by the not being a starter on the All-Star team. Steph Curry got the nod over Damien Lillard, which Steph has better numbers, but you know it's not that much better. And Dame doesn't play on he plays on a worse team, and he's carrying his team to. I think does Portland have a better record than Golden State right now?
They do, yeah.
You know, so he's doing a lot for his team. He's definitely MVP by far of his team, and he never gets the respect that he does deserve. Maybe it's because he plays in a small market. That could have a lot to do with it. You know, similar to Fred Taylor having 7 seasons over 1,000 yards and only making 1 Pro Bowl. You know, kind of similar to that. You know, when it comes to votes and stuff like that. It's a popularity contest. But Skip Bayless, man, nobody really. Some people pay attention to him. People know he's entertainment. You know, I don't know how many people really take him serious. You know, so it's one of those things.
That's what I'm saying, though, Kurt, man, because, you know, at one point, as a serious, like I said, MVP level type of player. At one point, does this guy just become background noise? You know, like it's only so many things that you can say to me. I think if I'm that type of athlete that makes me lash out outside of my character. But to your point, him being an Oakland boy, he didn't got salty a few times with players, coaches, whoever. He'll go on Twitter and he'll let you know about himself. So one point of me is surprised, and the other point when I think about it really hard, I'm like, nah, that's Dame. You know, I can definitely see that at the same time.
I mean, look at all the Oakland athletes. Marshawn Lynch, Lillard. I mean, they got that edge to them, man, where they got a chip on their shoulders. That's Oakland.
Well, look at Antonio Brown like a year ago when he stayed up for multiple nights in a row, and all he did was tweet everything. His whole life was on Twitter. He was nonstop tweeting. I got a shout out from him. He gave me some great advice on Twitter. But he was constantly putting his whole life out there. I mean, it kind of went against him, but then it almost played in his benefit. But yeah, athletes there, I think sometimes maybe a little too quick to jump again and say, hey, I'm going to go on Twitter. I'm going to post here and post my whole life and respond. Because like Carlos, I'm still going to go back to what you said. Maybe you should have taken a step back, taken a deep breath and not reacted. But it's him. He did it. It's out there. Once you put it out there, you can't get it back. So let's switch gears right now, gentlemen. Now here's I think this could be a heated discussion. I'm not sure, but I feel like this might be a heated discussion because it's a topic that when you bring it up, everybody has an opinion. We're talking about what your Mount Rushmore of sports is, but more than that, who's your GOAT for each sport? Or do you have a GOAT that represents all sports? And for myself, I will say I only have one GOAT, and that is Michael Jordan. That's it. I don't have a separate one. Will I ever say that Tom Brady? Will I ever admit that he is the GOAT of NFL? Not yet. Not yet. But he is. I mean, there's no doubt, right? So, Coach Broussard, let's hear it. I mean, am I right or am I wrong? Or do you have a whole different opinion when it comes to naming a GOAT for sport?
Yeah. I think my GOAT for all sports. I mean, sports has always crossed over into society as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because everyone looks up to their sports heroes and they expect them, they want to see them as humans, like the human side of them. And I think when you embody a true GOAT of everything, I think you cannot go without denying Muhammad Ali as that person, because his impact in his sport was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
His impact in society was phenomenal, more than any other athlete that we've experienced. So my GOAT of all sports would definitely be Muhammad Ali. Mm-hmm. And then when you break it down in individual sports, when you look at the major sports, I mean, you cannot. Tom Brady plays the hardest position in sports, and he's the best at it. So how can you not say he's not the GOAT? I mean, everywhere he goes, he's proved he can win in Tampa. He didn't need Belichick. So my football GOAT is Tom Brady. My golf GOAT is Tiger Woods. My boxing GOAT is Ali. My hockey GOAT is Wayne Gretzky.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball, my baseball GOAT would probably be. I mean, that's probably a toss up. I would say Willie Mays or Babe Ruth. You know, when you talk about baseball GOATs. So,
yeah.
You know, when you look at the major sports, that's where those will be my GOATs.
Wow. Okay. You know what? I don't disagree with any of that. I mean, like you said, you guys always try to one up me, and you did. Coach Williams, tell me, do you have a GOAT for each sport in particular, or is there just one where you're like, okay, this is the best person when it comes to sport?
Well, I'm gonna stick with the Mount Rushmore thought process. There's 4 people on that thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going with Tom Brady, Serena Williams,
yeah,
Michael Jordan, and then Usain Bolt. Okay. Now if you ask me, now I'm a track guy. My kids are all in track, and I'm a track guy. But physically speaking, to where not another human being can move at the speed of this cat ever in the history of human beings. All right. How is this guy not on Mount Rushmore? This guy's running 9.5 and sub 9.5 100-meter dashes. You got to he has to be on the Mount Rushmore. Now, even though track may not be a sport that people want to recognize, but this man has done something and can do something that no other born human being could ever do. That to me has to put him in the top 4. Serena Williams, athletically, I mean, to me, Serena Williams athletically would outdo some guys when it comes to what she did for her sport. Michael Jordan, you know, the what he's done in basketball, I think goes without saying. And Tom Brady, I mean, how anybody says that Tom Brady is not the GOAT, and I'm okay if we all don't think he's the GOAT of football, but if you don't think Tom Brady is a GOAT based on what he's done in one of the toughest team sports, and to be as consistent as he's been, I just think I see haters. You know, I don't see any other way to put it on that one. So
yes, well, I did agree that he was. I just wasn't ready to clear my throat and admit that you guys were right.
I'm not even specifically talking to you. I mean, I talk to people on Facebook all the time. People don't want to admit it, but I think Brady would be the GOAT of football. Just 10 Super Bowls. You know, you're not going. None of us are going to be alive to see somebody else do a 10 Super Bowl run. So he has to be there. And if I was just going, if you had me a bonus guy, a bonus person to put on it, then I would go with Muhammad Ali, just like Coach Broussard. I don't think physically that he deserves to be there as a GOAT athlete. He accomplished a lot of things in the sport, but I think Mike Tyson was more of a dominant guy. But I do think Ali brought so much to society and did a lot of things for Black folks. So you can't deny where he was at. So, but those are my 4, and then my honorable mention was Muhammad Ali.
Perfect. Well, again, some great people. Carlos, the floor is yours.
What you got, Los?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I'm a hater. I don't like Tom Brady, but damn it, I gotta give him his credit, man. I gotta finally do it.
Giving him the credit, but not admitting saying we don't like him.
Look, I'm gonna come flat out and say it, Trace. I don't like him, but damn it, when he won that one in Tampa Bay, I finally had to admit to myself, man, it's time to go on and admit it that my man, if he was able to get that team to the Super Bowl and win it, damn it, he's the GOAT. Okay, so whatever. All right, Tom Brady the GOAT.
Hey, Carlos, we had a moment, but we won't relive it again. Don't worry.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want to keep bringing this up, but whatever. Yeah. Okay, damn it, he's the GOAT in football. In basketball, it's Michael Jordan, man. I mean, but I'm gonna say this though, fellas, and I didn't think that I would be saying this, but looking at the longevity of LeBron, he's definitely number 2 at this point. The guy is playing at a spectacular level in year 18 of his NBA journey. I mean, I get it. You know, today's nutrition and fitness is 100% different when Bill Russell and Bob Cousy and Jerry West was playing. But to be at year 18, man, and still making highlight dunks, still playing 40 minutes a game, I'm starting to come around. I don't know if it's because he became a Laker now or whatever it is, but I'm starting to look at it like, okay, this guy, he's got a chance. If he was able to win 3 more rings and get over Jordan, I think that you definitely, and I don't know, 18 years in the league is a long time. But at the level that he's playing, and if he can reach at least 2 or 3 more rings at this point, might have a serious discussion. But for right now, we're talking Michael Jordan. Baseball, I'm a good Griffey Jr. guy. All right. Ken Griffey did not win the rings and, got all the accolades that he would have if he went to like one of the Yankees or the Red Sox or one of those teams. But I think when you look at overall talent, if you look at a guy that didn't take steroids, he didn't do a lot of the things in that era that a lot of other guys did. It had just as good as numbers as they did. He refused to be traded to the Yankees. I remember reading that he said, I'll go anywhere but the Yankees. I give him a lot of respect, and I think when you combine all of the things that it takes to be a great baseball player, fielding, hitting for average, hitting for power, Ken Griffey always in my heart will be my favorite GOAT in MLB player. And lastly, I got to go with Ali. And I hear what you said because I kind of disagree to the point that you said physically, he wasn't as dominant as some of the other, let's say Mike Tyson and things like that. I think if you look at Muhammad Ali, his longevity stood out to me. The way that he faced anybody and everybody in his era. If you wanted a piece of him and you was a primetime fighter, he'll take you on. His hand speed, his ability to dodge punches and the things that he was able to do, that was something we've not ever seen in a guy that big, in his stature. So I got to say that I think his physicality, he wasn't knocking people out as soon as he stepped in the ring, but for his size, his agility, his footwork, I think he still was one of the most spectacular athletes that we've ever seen. So that's my four. So I got Muhammad. I'm gonna take Michael. I'm gonna take Ken Griffey. Did I leave someone out? And if we're gonna do hockey, since we're doing it for the sake of hockey, you gotta go Wayne Gretzky. I mean, you look at the numbers,
without a doubt.
it don't even make sense when you look at like the hockey record books. Like Wayne Gretzky's everything. Every damn thing you look at, Gretzky, he's in the top 3. If he's not number 1. So you got to give it to Wayne Gretzky. He won championships. He done everything he needed to in that sport. Wayne Gretzky, he makes all-time hockey player of all time.
Great. Well, thank you. And if anybody out there wants to add their 2 cents into what everyone has said, don't forget to check out our social media, our Facebook page. The guys are constantly posting on there. And I know Coach Chris and Coach Kirk, they're always hitting a nerve with somebody with their comments on there.
I got to ask both fellas a quick question, though. Now, when it comes to Tom Brady, I mean, I believe I see the same type of hate going towards LeBron that I see going towards Tom Brady. I mean, would y'all agree with that? When people just put LeBron in the box, they just don't want to let him out? I mean, would y'all agree?
I would agree with you 100% on that one.
I think LeBron gets a lot of hate. But I think he kind of branded himself early on in his career. You know, from the times where he lost and he walked off the court pouting, and he created this stigma of who he is as being like a sore loser. And I think
like Tom Brady.
He got under a lot of people's skin, you know, with the way he would take losing. You know, if you look
Tom
back
Brady's the same way.
When San Antonio beat him, you know, he just walks off the court pouting. You know, same thing in Miami. You know, by the time he got to Miami, he still hadn't matured. He's a sore loser, and you know, he wasn't really a gracious loser. No one likes to lose. I get it. You want to lay on the court and cry, and I know he takes it to heart. But there's a certain professionalism where you at least shake the man's hand and walk off the court. And I think he kind of got in the wrong grace of a lot of fans with the way he handled certain situations. And a lot of people didn't like the decision. I think he created a lot of enemies when he did the whole decision thing. I didn't see a problem with the decision. High-profile recruits do it every year, you know, but people didn't like that, you know. And I think he kind of created a certain stigma, and it's hard for him to shake it.
Let me say this. The thing about Brady is that, you know, some of those rings, people like to question stuff, right? You got Deflategate, you had Spygate, you got all these little questions circling around Tom Brady and the Patriots organization that made them think that he was doing something. And like to everybody's credit, we've always said it's really easy to hate when one player is dominating, right? You're always gonna have that faction of fans that no matter what this guy does, he walks on water, and that other faction that no matter what this guy does, I can't stand it. So you add any fuel to that fire, like Deflategate and Spygate and all these different things where they feel like that, okay, this guy's cheating in order to get to the big, you know, anything that they can find, they're gonna lynch on to. And they're going to keep on saying it and keep on making it a bigger thing than it is. I think that he did earn all those championships. I'm not going to deny him. But I'm just saying, though, it's that certain faction of fans that would never admit that Tom Brady honestly earned all those rings. So they would never make him the GOAT. LeBron's a little bit different. You know, this guy came into the league, had tattoos talking about the chosen one. He was driving Hummers at 18. And that was just some straight up men on men hate. Like, I don't like this guy because I don't live the life that he lives. You know, that type of thing. So I get both sides of it, but I think more Tom Brady's more that they feel like he cheated or whatever with Belichick. I think LeBron is a 6'8", 250-pound man that they wish they could be in his shoes and they can't be, so they hate on him.
Yeah. Listen, I've had some games to where I've stood on the sideline against some pretty good quarterbacks and on the same side with some other pretty good quarterbacks and watched them up close and personal every day in practice. And what I can definitely say, out of all the football I've been around in my life, whether Brady had the rings or he doesn't, he is the most talented, gifted quarterback I've ever witnessed with my own eyes, live and in person from the sideline. He is
better than
surgical.
Peyton?
He is
Better
surgical.
than Tom?
He is surgical with a football. He is surgical with a football. And he is smart. And he gets the ball out so fast. I've never seen a quarterback get the ball out as fast as Tom Brady. He does everything. He does everything at a 9 or 10 level. He's great at everything.
All right, hold on, Coach.
Yep.
Let me ask you one question. Both of y'all, I got both of the coaches. Hypothetical world speaking, you don't think that if Peyton Manning played for Bill Belichick under the same tutelage, the same years, everything that happened, he wouldn't win as many championships as Tom did? I'm just saying.
There's one main thing that separates both of them. Tom Brady, okay, let me give you an example. Tom Brady is more clutch than Peyton Manning. When the game's on the line, when the situation's heated, Tom Brady is a killer. Tom Brady has the same killer instinct that Jordan has. Tom Brady is more Jordan when it comes to killer instinct than Peyton. Not to say Peyton's gifted. He's gifted. He gets by on talent. He's smart, but he doesn't have the level of killer instinct that Tom Brady has, and that's the difference. Kobe had the killer instinct. Kobe Bryant was a killer on the basketball court. Michael Jordan was a killer on the basketball court. LeBron James is more physically gifted than both of them put together, but he's not a killer like Kobe was. Kobe was a killer. Jordan was a killer. LeBron is not that guy. He doesn't have some killer instinct in him. He's just not on the level with Kobe and Jordan and Tom Brady. Those guys are elite with that type of instinct.
They're like psychopaths, though. Those guys are psychopaths.
Yeah.
So that's the difference.
That's the only thing. That is the only thing that's holding LeBron James back from being better than Jordan.
I got to chime in and say this real quick, though. Tom Brady, the combination of Tom Brady with any particular coach is not the issue. Tom Brady makes the coach. You know what I mean? Whereas, Peyton Manning wasn't necessarily able to do that. You put Tom Brady with Belichick and look at Belichick pre-New England. It wasn't that special. Put the Bruce Arians and Byron Leftwich and see what happens in his first year. Tom Brady elevates the coach. I don't think if you flip that around, if you put Peyton Manning in that same situation, I don't think you see that happening what you saw this year. So I mean, the dude is a real deal, man.
What was Tampa's record last year without Tom Brady?
No, it was 7-9. He's
Exactly.
been in the playoffs in 15 years.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, let's continue this yay Brady conversation another day.
Part of this.
Man, if you keep up this conversation, this bottle's going to be gone before you know it. Okay, let's talk about three-time defensive player J.J. Watt. What? He says he's taking his time. He's not making a decision anytime soon as to where he wants to go. Gentlemen, I know I posted this. Kirk, you posted this on the social media as well, and I posted on mine. Quite a bit of feedback, a lot of opinions, a lot of people saying they would love to see JJ with the Bills, with Tampa. What do you guys think? Wow, what's the face? What's the face there, Mr. Coach Broussard?
I don't have much to say about it, but I think he should go and play with his brothers in Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Pittsburgh is a team that's close as far as being a championship level team.
Okay, but
they ain't got enough money.
Can brothers play together? I mean, we all know that the field is a very crowded space. You've got the player plus their ego, plus coach. It's a crowded spot. Thoughts, this and that. Can you have brothers play on a team like that and everybody get along? Come on, we all know what it's like to be at family dinners. Sometimes, you can't even stand seeing your siblings. Could you imagine working with them at this level?
And well, with this amount of money on the line, they don't have a choice but to work well together. So
I know, but I don't think I'd want to see that. I wouldn't want to see I don't want to play. Don't play
They're not
together,
cleaning
no.
toilets. They're not cleaning toilets. They get paid a lot of money.
No, they're not. But so yeah, you're saying the Steelers then?
I'd like to see him play with his brother. That's never happened before. 3 brothers on one team, I believe.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see that. Yeah.
Okay, Carlos, what do you think?
Hey man, y'all know where I'm at. I'm in Nashville. I love to see him come to the Titans. I think that could work. The Titans, what have we seen from the Titans? They do not have a pass rush to save their life. That's the one big just glaring hole that you could talk about the Tennessee Titans is they don't have a guy that just can go get them. A guy that can disrupt the game, and you know for a fact they thought they had it in Clowney, and Clowney does what Clowney does. He flamed out, got hurt, and you didn't hear nothing about him for the rest of the season. I think the problem with J.J. Watt, I put this on the coaches, do y'all think his production will match giving this man $17, $18 million per year? Because, again, we just went through that down here in Nashville with Clowney, and the expectation level was so high for Clowney. You know, every day, did he get a sack? What is he working on? Does he got to tackle for loss? Like, people were just grasping at straws just to see that guy do anything. And I know J.J. Watt is a Hall of Fame, a bona fide first ballot, but we're talking about a guy that's been in the league for quite a while now. Is that production going to value? I know everybody gets hyped to see a guy that's going to eventually be in the Hall of Fame in the open market, but I kind of take a step back and look at it like, what has he done the last couple of seasons to warrant to make me think that he's going to come to some team and absolutely be a game breaker at this point?
He's done a couple commercials, hasn't he?
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Maybe a movie.
Hey, do you remember that, Carlos?
Oh,
You had me on your show when
Which one? The commercial?
When Clowney was getting drafted. You had me on your show, and you asked me, "Is Jadeveon Clowney deserving to be the number 1 pick?" And I said no. Remember that? I told you.
Yeah. You said absolutely no. You said absolutely not.
Yep.
yeah.
And you was right. And I gave you a lot of hell about that, man, because I was like, how can you look at this guy, this physical freak, coming out here knocking guys' helmets off and all this and whatnot, and you don't even think about it. I gave him hell, y'all. I made sure. But he did prove it that he was right. He's not that guy. He just doesn't have whatever it takes to be one of those guys that's always thinking about football. He doesn't seem like a football guy from that standpoint.
Yeah.
Coach Williams, do you agree with anything that, one of us have said, or do you have a different plan for J.J. Watt?
I think Los is on the right track there when you start talking about the performance. I mean, J.J. Watt, women like J.J. Watt for some reason, and sentimental men that always stays present like J.J. Watt, right? I mean, that J.J. Watt can't play anymore. And if you look at it from a football standpoint, take the hint from Houston. Houston's already told you this is a former first-round draft pick. You know, he's a sentimental name in the city of Houston that's done some big things, and they cut the guy. You know what I mean? That this dude can't play anymore. I mean, so whatever you get out of him is going to be locker room leadership. But if you're looking for a dog to come off the edge and get after the quarterback and do all this stuff, it's not going to happen with J.J. Watt. So I think Houston's telling us what it is. I mean, I guarantee you, Houston tried to trade him before they disrespected him. I guarantee you they tried. So we gotta read between the leaves and see what this is. But you'll see pretty quickly. He'll sign with somebody, but the production days.
Yeah, but if Gronk can come back and win a ring, anything is possible, right?
Yeah, but Gronk's not washed up to the point of J.J. Watt. But
no, true. Okay, Coach Broussard, you mentioned the Steelers. Let's talk about Big Ben. People are saying he's in a game of playing chicken right now and that there's only one option for him. What are your thoughts when it comes to this quarterback?
I think Ben should hang it up. You saw Marquise Pouncey, his center for the last 11 years, hung it up. They're like best friends on the team. I think it's someone Pittsburgh needs to draft a quarterback, and Ben needs to go ahead and hang it up. He had moments where he looked solid last year, but then he had a lot of moments where he didn't look very good. So I think he's kind of in that Drew Brees category to where his best days are far behind him. And I don't think he can help them get to the level where Pittsburgh is primed to be at. Pittsburgh is at a kind of like a decision time. they want to see something from Tomlin. You know, that championship he won was a long time ago, and they have expectations, big expectations, and I don't think Ben is the trigger man to get them to that level. So I think they need to look elsewhere, and I think Ben needs to move on.
Okay, Coach Williams, what do you think about Big Ben?
Yeah, I mean, I think the same way, Kurt. Don't even have to go along on that. I agree. And for Mike Tomlin's sake, it's time to go in a different direction.
Okay, Carlos, do you want to chime in on this?
All I'm gonna say is I ain't mad at Big Ben trying to get the extra 18, 19 million one more year. Yeah, I said, look, hey, you tell me I gotta retire. I'm gonna try to get that last 18, 20 million, dog. So you gonna have to make me do this. Yeah, I know my arm is spaghetti at this point. I can't throw it 20 yards down the field. But damn it, I want my money. All right. I got my contract, and if y'all gonna make me do this, I want my money first. Because we all know Ben is not the guy anymore. We saw in the playoffs that he can't get the ball down the field. And it's so sad to see, legends like that, man. Guys that's won championships, they've been in the trenches, and he just physically can't do it anymore. So at this point, yes, it's time for him to hang it up. But again, I ain't gonna never be mad at anybody for trying to get their money. That's all I'll say.
I mean, you never know. We might hear about a couple players retiring. We still haven't got word about Drew Brees. I mean, everyone was talking about him. Who knows? I guess it's still early, but let's talk about quarterbacks. A lot of teams are on the market for a quarterback. Seems to be a domino effect here. Coach Broussard, let's talk about this. Let's see. Who do you think is going to be the next team to fall on this?
I think everybody's waiting to see what happens with Deshaun Watson. That's the big domino that's in limbo right now. And I think I heard today that the Jets want to move Sam Darnold to the Bears. The Bears are interested in Sam Darnold, but they want a second-round draft pick for him. So, but they've made it clear that they want to move Sam Darnold for a second-round pick. So I'm not sure if they're going to get what they want, but I just think Deshaun is that big domino. Once he moves, you're going to see more movement with the quarterback, and I'm really excited to see where Deshaun lands because I think he's a elite quarterback, and I think if he lands in the right situation, you're gonna see good things. I think he's a Super Bowl caliber quarterback.
Coach Williams.
Well, I'm gonna go with maybe Jimmy Garoppolo. I think you're probably gonna see something happen with two of these guys. So I think it may run through something. So we'll wait and see and see how that works. But I think when one moves, it'll be kind of like Matt Stafford and the kid out in LA. I think you'll see one of those type of moves again.
Okay, Carlos.
So I've been hearing, I got some guys in Atlanta, right? And I'm hearing a lot of rumors about Matt Ryan. I'm hearing that if the right offer comes up, that Matt Ryan may be out of there. From the standpoint that some of the guys that I follow were on the staff with the Titans, and they went down with Arthur Smith as he became the new head coach of the Falcons. And I'm hearing that Arthur is not enamored, or he is not just nailed down to Matt Ryan. So I think that's that one out of left field that you may see. But to Coach Broussard's point, I think that it's Deshaun Watson. Once he moves, a lot of teams are going to know how to move after that. And, I don't know about y'all coaches, but I don't see why a team like the Bears don't look at this thing as like, hey, man, we haven't had a decent quarterback since Jim McMahon. Like, I'll move heaven and earth. I don't care. Give him all the first. Give him all the seconds for the next 2 years. Do what you have to do. And just get Deshaun Watson in your – I don't give a damn about any of that. Like, that really shows me when a team really is all in on this type of thing because they went all in on Khalil Mack. Look how good that defense was, the first couple of years with Mack on there. So you have a franchise-altering quarterback that's available. Throw it all out there. I just don't understand it. And you guys are coaches. You tell me, I get it. If you put your GM head on, you don't want to take your whole future away. But at this point, you have the kitchen table and just throw everything that you got and just land Deshaun Watson. That just befuddles my mind.
Yeah, I agree. That's a generational type talent at the most important position. And that franchise has never had an elite quarterback. I mean, I looked today, I saw Jay Cutler's their all-time leading passer in the history of Chicago Bear history. So you're right. They've never had the guy at quarterback, and they need that. In today's football, you need that level of quarterback to win a Super Bowl. So I agree with you. They need to throw the house out to make a move on Deshaun.
I'm just gonna say this, and I'm gonna be done with it. But I'll ask all three of you: Have you ever seen a Doug Williams type in Chicago? I'll ask you that, and then you think about what.
Ooh, he got a point. I see where you're going with that one, Coach. I get it. But damn it,
you saved the best word for the last comment, eh? Let's switch gears now. Cam Newton. I mean, he's known to have quite the mouth on him. He likes to react. We talked about how basketball players, Damien, he reacted on Twitter. Well, it looks like Cam Newton might be a changed man because he did not respond to a trash talker that is a football camper. He was watching him. He decided to take the high road. I'm shocked that he took the high road, but do you think that he just did it, one, because there was press there and that it was a kid? I mean, the kid can't even play football yet. It seems to be a headline. Everyone's impressed that he took the high road, but Twitter, it's on fire because they're like, you should have put him in his place. What do you guys think? Who wants to comment on this one? Cam Newton, is he getting a little soft?
I'll comment on it. Cam Newton has been over scrutinized in his entire career unfairly. The things that he's accomplished, almost no quarterbacks have accomplished what he's accomplished. A very, very elite few has done what Cam Newton's done. Now he's coming off an injury, and he's getting a lot of backlash and a lot of unfair judgment from a lot of people. Maybe rushed himself back from the injury. I don't really know the extent of the injury, but people are critiquing his performance from last year, giving him a hard time. In response to the camper that heckled him at his own camp. Okay. First of all, he should have kicked that kid out of the camp. Yeah. Because that kid is unappreciative, ungrateful. It appears that he has no home training. I don't know who the parents are. I always say, who raised you? Because if any kid that I raised ever spoke to an adult that way, they would have to deal with me, and it won't be pleasant. So first of all, Cam probably was a little cautious because he know the media's hard on him anyway. So he didn't want to, and he probably knew the cameras were on him. So he didn't want to really come off as, the bad guy. But Cam should have definitely ejected him from the camp. He should have been gone because he was rude and he was disrespectful. And kids today, you have these ungrateful kids today that aren't being trained properly at home.
Yeah. And entitled.
There's no backlash. The kids, there's no consequences. And so obviously social media grabs it and runs with it. But on this show, we spit facts. And the fact is he should have kicked that kid out of the camp and taught him a lesson.
I mean, I agree with what you're saying and how he's under the camera. People are watching him and they're looking for him to mess up. But I think that, like you said, this kid should have been put in his spot. Like, we wouldn't want our kids disrespect at the end of the day. It doesn't matter whose kid it is. It was disrespectful. But it's unfortunate that he probably couldn't have done anything or put this kid in his spot, because then you're going to have mom and dad chiming in on this. You're going to have media chiming in on this. Coach Williams, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think that he was fine? You know what? Or should he have made a public statement after the fact saying, yes, this happened in the camp. You're no longer welcome back.
I never thought about that part, Tracy. Maybe that is something he could have done, but I thought him getting sucked into the back and forth, and I think he thought maybe he had that kill shot when he told the kid, "I'm rich." I think he was looking for that kill shot to shut the kid up, and once the kid didn't shut up, I mean, there was nowhere to go from there but for it to get worse. So I don't really know. I mean, I think definitely. There's got to be embarrassed for the kid and his family. Cam asked the question, "Where's your dad and where's your father?" I wish I could have seen that step forward, but yeah, just a bad look for everybody.
Carlos, what do you think? Cam Newton being the softy here.
I'm gonna take both perspectives. I put it like this: which generation ever thought that the older generation was cool? No generation before it ever thinks that, even for all the accomplishments, to Kirk's point, Heisman winner, #1 pick, NFL MVP, Super Bowl appearance. But all that stuff don't matter when you put a camera in front of a kid, they're having a good time and they think it's funny. They try to get some jokes off with his homeboys, and the whole thing backfired. I think the saddest thing, like y'all said, is that all the opportunities that this kid to get a laugh just missed out on. You're talking to a guy that trained and got himself in rip position to be, not one of the greatest, but a very, very good quarterback in this league. And that's hard for anyone to do, to take away any accomplishment from him. So this kid messed up on a lot of opportunities. Other people are going to see this. They're going to talk about it, and just for a few laughs with his friends at the camp. So I for one, appreciate Cam not going down that road, not saying all this crazy stuff. But I'll be honest with you guys, I've seen Cam interact with some of his other camp members, and they kind of joke on each other. Like Cam just said some stuff back to him, but it wasn't a joking mood. This one didn't feel like a joking mood. It's like this kid wanted to really say some hurtful things to Cam at that point where he wanted to get that reaction out of him. The kid is a 2-star kid out of somewhere. 2-star kid. So, dude, if you want to make your name as a guy that's a heckler and not an active athlete, I think you did everybody a service by showing what you really is. Because guess what? Coaches are looking at that. College recruiters are looking at that. And everybody's going to see that he did himself the ultimate disservice. So Cam was right. Don't pay attention to it. You are rich, man. You are a former NFL MVP. At this point, the only thing that Cam should have said, look, like you said, Kirk, where your mom at, man? It's time for you to go. And kept it moving. That's it. Ain't nothing else to talk about right here, dog.
That's it. That's all he should have said. Where your parents at? It's time for you to go. And grab an escort to escort him out of there. We could teach him a lesson later off camera. Because a kid like that, you don't want to just dump him and kick him out. You want to teach him a lesson, but that wasn't the time. The kid was in a mind frame to where he was trying to pull a reaction out of Cam. So Cam should just say, hey, get your parents, get his parents here. He has to go. He's not welcome. But you know what? If he was getting recruited, he just killed his whole recruitment with that interaction with Cam.
Self-control too. Yeah, self-control, which is something that we rarely see from Mr. Newton. He, like many of us, we would react, right? We it's disrespect, as we all said.
What pisses me off about this is that Twitter is on fire talking about no, you shouldn't have said that to this kid and everything else. Who the hell are people to tell people what they should do in moments like that? Because I know a lot of people, they would have tried to put their hands on that kid. They would have did all kind of stuff and got real disrespectful and nasty with the kid, and did all kind of stuff. Then Cam would have been on Sports Center defending himself for things like that. So Twitter gets on my nerve with that because you can never be right on Twitter. I wasn't harsh enough on the kid. I should have done this. You know what? Whatever, man. It's hard. It's good for all you to think that y'all know what to do. As a $150 million man, I'm just gonna go over there and start beating on the kid. Like, get the hell out of here, man. You know.
You're right.
Yeah, very true. Sorry, Coach Broussard, happy birthday to your son. He turned 1.
Thank you.
Yeah. I meant to say that earlier because it seems to be a lot of birthdays. 1 year old? Woo!
Yeah. Almost a Valentine's Day baby. Yeah.
Well, fun fact, I was supposed to be born on Valentine's Day, believe it or not. I know. I am so full of love, right? I'm so sweet.
So when's your birthday?
January. So I just am very stubborn and very impatient. I just decided to join everybody about a month early.
Nice.
All right, look at
kind of explains a lot, doesn't it? Well, gentlemen, I know this is we're kind of like wrapping it up around that time, but I want to end off with some top picks. Give me some names when it comes to the draft this year for NFL. Anybody in particular really sticking out? I know this is one of my favorite times to watch the combines of the draft, everything that's going on. The building of the team. Coach Broussard, let's start with you. Any picks, any favorites, anyone that is sticking out?
Yeah, I really like the tackle from Oregon. I think his name is Sewell. He's a tackle from Oregon. Yeah, I really like him a lot. I think he'll be a home run pick. I think he's going to be a tackle in the league for 12, 11 years, and I think he's going to make multiple Pro Bowls. I think it's a good safe pick at tackle. I really love Kyle Pitts. I think he is a generational type tight end.
Oh God, here you go.
I mean, not just because he's a Gator, but I think he's like a Randy Moss type at tight end. I think he's special. But I think teams are getting really desperate for these quarterbacks because I'm starting to see a lot of quarterbacks moving up in the mock drafts. At this point, I think they got 5 or 6 quarterbacks going in the mock draft, and they just keep moving them up. I think a lot of teams are going to get fooled on Zach Wilson. I think he's fool's gold. I don't think he's going to be. I think they're talking about him being the 2nd pick overall. If you watch his film, he can't really push the ball downfield. He throws a lot of short throws, gets a lot of high percentage throws, plays against some weak competition. And, I don't think he makes the best decisions under pressure. And as we all know, in the NFL, you have to be able to make great throws under pressure because that's what the NFL is. It's all constant pressure. Mm-hmm. So I think teams are going to get fooled on him. I do like Justin Fields. I think he's probably a couple years away from really making an impact, though. I think it's a pretty deep draft, deeper than what we normally see. I think it's going to be a lot of talent in the 2nd and 3rd round that are really exceptional. That could easily be 1st round talent.
Okay, Carlos, do you want to add to this list? Anyone sticking out?
I agree with Kirk. I think every year we do this though, right? Those quarterbacks start creeping up the boards. What's the kid out of North Dakota State, Lance? I can't think of his last name right now.
Lance.
Yeah. It just happens every year, and it makes me think back. I remember that one year where Jake Locker and Christian Ponder and EJ Manuel, all those guys flamed out. I mean, it was quick too, maybe 2 or 3 years. So to your point, Kirk, a lot of those guys will flame out really quickly if they're not committed to football in the way that we think they are. It's one thing to be the superb athlete on the field, but when you get on the NFL, everybody's the athlete. So these guys really have to make that decision quickly about, is this something that I want to continue to do? But I would like the wide receivers. That's the position I played. When I played, you're looking at guys like Jamar Chase, Devontae. You got a lot of receivers to some of these. And if I look at some of these teams, even as being a receiver, former receiver myself, I don't think some of these teams drafting these guys so high. Like if New York Jets decided to take Devontae Freeman early, I may think that that's a reach. But sometimes you're only that one piece away. So I'm a receivers guy, and I think that, Jamar Chase, Devontae, a few other guys are going to make the impact. I just hope they don't go to the wrong teams, and it kind of sets them back, in their projection in the NFL.
Yeah. Just to capitalize on that really quick, Coach, and my favorite player in the draft, and not just because he's a Gator, my favorite player is Kadarius Toney.
Here we go.
I think Kadarius Toney is special, not just because he's from Mobile.
There's always a catch.
Kadarius Toney is the difference maker, brother.
He's pretty good, though. I'm not gonna lie to you. He tore up Tennessee so many times, man. Watching those games down through the years, and I'm like, damn it, why don't they check this dude? Like he's always open. Why is nobody checking this dude, man? He was just too fast. It's fast.
Yeah. Coach Williams, the floor is yours. Who do you want to add to this? Anyone in particular that is sticking out when it comes to the draft this year?
I'm gonna keep it simple and just go with 2 guys that I think are truly generational talents and are can't miss guys. I think Trevor Lawrence, in my opinion, is a can't miss guy that's going to be around as a high level, Pro Bowl level, Super Bowl level quarterback. And I also think that Christian Barmore, the inside defensive lineman from Alabama, looking at a guy that's probably got that, maybe I would say he's in somewhat comparison to Ndamukong Suh when Suh was at his peak. So I think you're looking at a guy that could be that kind of a 2-gap problem for people. So those are my 2 guys that I think will be around for a while.
Okay. Well, time will tell, and we will definitely be talking about this. We'll pick up next week. But I also, before we end off, I want to say congratulations to Jason Sanders of the Miami Dolphins, the kicker. Man, what a deal! $22 million for a 5-year deal.
What the hell is going on down there in Miami, man?
Yes, they report the deal is worth. They report that this deal is worth $22 million and comes with a $10 million guarantee.
Tracy, You might want to trade Dolphin players.
I'm just saying, like, I mean, kickers are awesome. They're pretty cool. They're making great contracts. Yeah. You know what? I feel like I had a gun to my head. I had to say that right.
You already got a Miami. You already got a Dolphin.
Yeah, we're already set there. Well, guys, it was a pleasure. This was a fantastic night. I have missed you. It's been a great time. Can't wait next week, same time. And I'm sure there's going to be lots of things for us to talk about and catch up on. I hope you guys have a great week. Thanks for your time tonight. And everyone, I want you to follow us on social media at the Play Callers Pod. You can follow our podcast. You can follow the guys individually. They always have something fun. And they're always hitting a nerve. And just chime in. And guys, thank you.
Shout out your social medias, Carlos. How can they find you?
Hey, man, check me out. I'm at Los Page on Twitter. You can find me on the sportaholicnetwork.com if you want to check out the website. And always on Facebook under the same name, Sportaholic Sports Topic Page. Man, I appreciate y'all for always having me. And, hey, man, one of these days, Tennessee, we're going to rise up, man. I'm just going to say that. I'm going to leave it on that one.
Well, I might have to hop on Twitter and do some trash talking to you. Okay, guys, have a good night.
Hey, thank you.
Bye, guys.
All right,
Thanks,
no
great
problem.
to see you. All right.